Everyone, Patrick's here. I would like to introduce you to the new C++ programming series for beginners. In this series, I would like to explain basics of the C++ language, how to use it with very simple language, with very simple step-by-step approach, with as many examples as possible, so all of you can really benefit from that. The training will be based on the online GDB compiler, so we don't need to download any additional software. We just need to have a web browser and any operation system we need. We can use Windows, we can use Linux or Mac. Just the web browser is required. The link to this online compiler will be provided in the comments. So in this first lesson, I would like to go through line by line in this example code provided by the online GDB. That's a hello world word. So as you can maybe guess, it will just print out the hello world text. And I would like to go through line by line to explain what is happening here. So you can have a basic knowledge what things are required in C++ code and more or less how they work. So in the beginning of this code section, we have like 7 first lines of code, which is basically a comment, which is timing of the backslash and star. I need to finish with star and backlash. It's basically the information for the other developer, for other user. It's not going to be part of the code itself. So we can read, this is like online C++ compiler, code, compiled, run, and debug, C++ program online. I will explain in other training what compiling process is doing when running and what debugging process is doing, how they are operate, but that will be too long to explain in this lesson. Then you have write your code in the editor and press run button to compile and execute it. So now we know that after pressing the right button, which is over there, we can compile and run our software. Then on line number 9, we have hash include Iostream. So that's quite common in C or C++ languages. That's basically adding a library, which means that we are adding additional content from outside, from other libraries implemented for this software. And this particular one is giving us opportunity to show text to the user, because Iostream comes from input output stream. Input output stream, right? So basically, you can imagine that the best example how this thing works, the machine itself, the code itself cannot listen or cannot show any data without provided libraries. So you can say that if you close your eyes and close your ears, you're not able to hear or see. To be able to unlock this ability, you just need to uncover them. So you can say that adding these libraries, uncovering this capability for the PC. So we are able to read some data or write some data on our screens. Then line 11 is using namespace Std. Std comes from the standard library. And it's giving us opportunity, because usually many components of the system are part of the standard library. And cout as well is a part of the standard library. So usually when you need to use cout, usually need to just do std ::cout. You can say that for simple code, it's a bit annoying, so you can just use using namespace std. So if using namespace std, we can just do cout without adding additional std in front of it. Then line 13, we have beginning of our main function. So every software developed for C++ requires to have int main function. So this is required. And this is the beginning of our software. So basically, our software is starting here. Then we have 2 curly brackets, and this is the scope indicator. So every function add scope indicator. So every function needs to start and end with the scope indicator, and I will talk about it slightly more later on. Then line number 15 is our cout. So that's, as I mentioned before, cout is console output. Oops. So basically it's printing out the text which is below, is in between these two characters. So in this case, we have a hello world text, and that's going to be presented on the console after running the project. Then line 17 is return. So basically that's the end of the code. And in this part, it's returning 0, as we can see. It's not very important for this particular code, at least not for us. Later on, we will see some examples where this functionality, so returning some values functionality, is quite important, and then I'll explain a bit more why should we use that. So basically that's it. So we have explained more or less how each line is working. So now if you press the run button, we will be able to see that program's compiling. Then program finished with exit code 0. It's cool. Press enter to exit console. Cool. And we can see hello world. So that's our text which we provided over there. So that was the first training. The next one, I'll be showing some more examples. What will happen if you change the order of the lines? What will happen if you make some bugs in the code? What will happen if you change this text, or if you delete this line, or if you delete this library? I'll try to cover some more examples to give you more understanding what is really required for the software, what is not. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions for this training, or you would like to hear more about some basic functionality of the language, please let me know. Thank you.